back. I have my tape. Now normally for this I would use masking tape, and I know for sure that I am out of masking tape because I used it all up this weekend. It's better to get a higher quality masking tape. Like I usually get my masking tape at AC Moore versus going to the dollar store for masking tape, because it just doesn't, it's not sticky enough. So I'm just going to use what I found in a drawer. Get some of these pieces checked down. And I've actually even made little features with the masking tape as well. It's easy to just take some masking tape, roll it up, and because it's sticky, let me turn it around. She looks like she's in for plastic surgery or something. Because it's sticky, so maybe I want to make this like a cheekbone. And then you just keep covering it up with the masking tape, and just layers and layers and layers on top of each other. And then finally, you know, you get things all painted up and stuff, and then you see that, yes, I made a little sculpture. I know my lighting is not super great, especially in the evening, but this is what we're looking like. Trust me, she's going to be super cute. Alright, so I'm going to go off camera and continue to work on her, doing a little more foiling around her ears, making this area tight. Maybe I'll make some eyes. Sometimes I actually will take a hammer and press in eyes instead of having them be outward eyes. So those are kind of thought processes that will come to me along the way. So I will be back. Okay, good morning everybody. Let's recap a little bit about where I'm at on my doll. Last thing I was working on was covering the head with masking tape, and then I had run out of masking tape, and then I ran over to Staples because for some reason around this area that's the only place I can find it, and picked up some masking tape from Staples, came back, started to put it over the face again, and I did not like the quality of the masking tape at all. It just wasn't sticking, kept pulling off. As I've mentioned a couple times, I usually get my masking tape from AC Moore, which is about 25 minutes away. So I'm like, I'm not going to drive out there. What can I do to fix this at this point? And sometimes when you are doing a process like what I'm doing right now, which is just a very creative process, unplanned, you might have to do some troubleshooting along the way to make things work. So the majority of the head was covered, and I decided to get out these paper napkins that I have and just collage them on top of the foil and the masking tape. So that's where we're at. It was a quick fix. I like how it looks. Can still see some of the tape in there. I went down to the top of the milk carton. And so yeah, so I'm liking how it's looking so far. And you'll also notice too that the clay has hardened overnight, and it is good and solid. So here's the little shoulder blades that I was making. I had mixed again more clay and had some left over, so I made a heart, which I added onto the front here. The wings are in. I cut off the top of the dowel and wrapped string around the bottom of the dowel so it's kind of hidden. And so the next thing that I need to think about is painting. So I also need to keep in mind though that I still have I've only used one of the 3 items from my box, which was I'm blanking, the paper, the tape, the drywall tape, sorry, Long Night with Tucker. Yeah, so far I've only used one of the items, so that still leaves me the gold paint, the crayon, and the transfer graphite paper. Do I know what I'm going to do with these yet? No. We're just gonna keep going along with the process and just see how it happens. So yeah, so the next thing I kind of think of that I will be doing is dry brushing white on the face and around the ears, over the shoulders, anywhere that's green. Eyes I'll probably paint in dark first. With features like that, I like to go in dark and then come in light on top of that. I really like how the nose is, and so one thing I've learned along the way when I'm working is if I like something, I'm not going to change it. So I probably will not change the nose at all. But never say never, right? Okay, so I'm going to get my paints ready, begin painting, and then I'll be back. Run some of that gold here. Okay, so for the red, what the heck am I going to do with this red? I was thinking, so of course we have this heart here that can be red, right? So might as well do some drawing on it. Now this is water-soluble crayon, so of course I can add some water to this, to a paintbrush, and move that around a little bit. But I think while I'm adding water, I'm going to pick up a little brown ink. Actually, that's black. Find my brown ink. This will get me more of a kind of a rusty red, kind of a grungy. We're back to the grunge. I do like my grunge. All right, so tapping on top of it, moving that crayon around with the brush and the ink. Now I'm going to do straight ink on top of that. The other thing this is doing is giving you again an automatic kind of an automatic kind of shadowing effect, which we talked about earlier. And go down into the crevices of this heart with the brown. And if I want that brighter, I'll dry it, and I can come back on top of it with the crayon. Sometimes too, I'll take, let me see, can you see right here? Sometimes too, I'll actually use the crayon on the paper, get the brush wet, come in, and then use it like a paint. I really like how that's looking. Nice rusty red instead of a bright red. Okay, and then one more spot. Hey guys, one last thing. Did anyone notice I forgot to use the transfer paper? I was painting around on my bunny last night and then suddenly I remembered, oh, forgot to use the transfer paper. So here's how Bunny's looking so far. Got some big changes happening. Little teeth, face got blue, little bunny hood. Okay. So I whited out this area in here, made it a little lighter so that I could do some, I'm going to write with the transfer paper. I thought that would be kind of the one thing that's missing on here, some writing. And I found a little bunny haiku that I thought would be cute, so. Little sweet bunny. I'm writing kind of big and messy because I don't really, it's not the point of like what it says, but for the texture of the handwriting. The first of springs, wild honey. Your days, then I have it over here too, will be sunny. Okay, so kind of a cool look. See if I can really get in there close. There. Oops, this side. And then on this side, maybe I'll doodle a little bit more. Bring it over here. So what I'm really just going for is the texture. You know, it's a hint of what am I looking at? Oh, that's cool. Kind of back to that whole graffiti look that I like. You know, maybe I put in some shapes. You know, I do this in my paintings, and to me it's not about what something says. So maybe I'll try to block out some of the words so that people aren't analyzing it, saying, "Oh, what are you're talking about? A bunny?" Yeah. You know, the silly questions people ask about art. A couple shapes. I like that. Just some marks, messy. What I like about when you do this with the transfer paper is it's kind of like, hey, how'd they do that? It doesn't look like a pencil, and it's... Okay, I think that's definitely good. And then I'll probably come over and just take some more paint, maybe bring in that red crayon again, and just kind of cover some of that again. So some of it's open, some of it's covered. Okay? Alright, so I used up all my 4 items, and I hope you've enjoyed the project. Take care. Thank you. We left off. Alright, thanks so much. Thanks for joining in.